top 10 NFL head coaches heading into the 2023 season. Number 10, and this could have went between a couple of guys here. I was torn. Maybe could have went between 3 guys, but I definitely feel like it came down to 2. Number 10 is going to be Mike Vrabel. And I'll say that number 11 is Matt LaFleur. And I was really switching the 2 of them because Matt LaFleur, multiple NFC championships, multiple number 1 seeds, multiple Aaron Rodgers MVP seasons. Oh, that was just Aaron Rodgers. That was just Nathaniel Hackett. LaFleur was still there. But the reason I put LaFleur at 11 is because I know he walked into more. Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams, Nathaniel Hackett, kind of got the handoff from Mike McCarthy, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, excuse me. So Matt LaFleur at 11. And the fact that it was so many NFC championships that he got stalled up in where it felt like the same mistake over and over, or you're, losing to the Niners at home where they don't score a touchdown. I believe that's how that one playoff game went. So it's been tough for the Packers, but I'm not going to doubt his coaching. At number 10, give me Mike Vrabel. Definitely remaking that Tennessee Titans offense and team, believing in Ryan Tannehill to pour back into him that season to where he had the lightning in a bottle, takes him to the AFC title game, putting the system in place for Derrick Henry. Unfortunately, A.J. Brown did leave under his watch and tenure, but I can't take away from what Mike Vrabel has done, being a former player, now a coach, major players coach, very well respected in this league. At number 9, give me Nick Sirianni, just coming out of the Super Bowl, 2 seasons as a head coach, 2 playoff runs, 1 Super Bowl run, 1 MVP run with Jalen Hurts, pouring into Jalen Hurts. What an NFL draft. What an offseason. You probably think it's a little low here for Nick Sirianni, but realistically, it's only been a couple of seasons in the league. He did just come off the easiest schedule, but I can't deny the fact that he just lost a shootout in the Super Bowl to Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. And Travis Kelce. That's nothing to slight. Nothing to slight whatsoever. Nick Sirianni at number 9. Number 8, Zach Taylor. And you probably think he should be higher too. Last 2 seasons, Super Bowl, AFC Championship game, getting there under some horrible offensive lines. And people probably wondering, Adam, how do you even put Zach Taylor in your top 10? Because he hasn't been able to protect Joe Burrow consistently. He hasn't been able to win a Super Bowl, but he has been able to draft well. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, having Joe Burrow in the building, knowing how he's coached this team up, knowing how Cincinnati needed to have a good coach for this franchise, for this football team. And they went out and found Zach Taylor because Zach Taylor's job was in question. We weren't sure about Zach Taylor before the Super Bowl run. We weren't sure about Zach Taylor before back-to-back AFC title games against the Chiefs in Arrowhead, one of which they won. We didn't know about that. We didn't know what Joe Burrow was going to be coming off the ACL. We didn't know how Zach Taylor was going to step in. So maybe he deserves to be higher, but give me a few more years of coaching at this level, because the Bengals did just creep back into the conversation very fast, but they did just get back into it. Number 7, give me Bill Belichick. Can't deny what he did with Tom Brady. I'm clearly respecting my elders here. The oldie goldie in the NFL. Maybe the greatest NFL coach of all time. Defensive-minded. If he was offensive-minded, I believe he would be higher on this list. Maybe you're going to gaff, laugh, scoff, whatever the hell that word is, at the fact that Bill Belichick is number 7 on this list. But Bill Belichick is a great coach. I have absolutely nothing against him. And when you look at what Bill Belichick has done in the entirety of his career in the NFL, by the way, if you're wondering on the graphic, this is also just something I learned. The NFL has an annual head coach photo that's taken every single year, and I was unaware of that. So that's very interesting. They literally get together for like a school photo every single year and take a picture of all the NFL coaches, the head coaches in the NFL. Lord, that was tripping me up. Bill Belichick at number 7, master defensive mind, Super Bowl winner. Maybe you want to call him a cheater. I don't know. Respecting my elders, respecting a legend here. Number 6, John Harbaugh. Or is it Jim Harbaugh? Lord, I need to look that up. Forgive me as I confirm the first name. John Harbaugh. Okay, cool. Jim is in Michigan. Jim is in MI. Haha, there you go. Just came up with it on the show. John Harbaugh with the Baltimore Ravens. John Harbaugh is an amazing coach. And the reason I have him here at number 6 is knowing how he's been able to really create a scheme around Lamar Jackson, keep it kind of the same when Tyler Huntley comes in, being able to have the grit to go through the Lamar Jackson sweepstakes and contract negotiations, being able to have that grit in the playoffs, playing in such a tough division year in and year out in the same division as Mike Tomlin, who is very far up from him on this list. John Harbaugh really did have to take that risk with Lamar Jackson, drafting him late in the draft and being able to mold him into what he did. Unanimous MVP. Of course, they lose tragically in the divisional, but we can't deny what John Harbaugh has done. And I know he needs an AFC title game appearance or a few more. And, he did win the Super Bowl clearly with the Ravens years back. I want to say the couple years after my Saints, or the year after the Packers actually had won the Super Bowl, I want to say, is when the Ravens won against the 49ers. But I have a lot of respect for John Harbaugh. Number 5, Sean Payton. Yes, Sean Payton is here at number 5 on my top 10 NFL head coaches going into the 2023 season. No, this is not an all-time ranking. Sean Payton coming back into the league is great for football. It's great for the Broncos, and it's great for Sean Payton and everyone that plays under his head coaching vision. Because as a Saints fan, I've uttered it multiple times, and I'll say it again. We know what he did for the city of New Orleans. Nobody wanted the job. Nobody wanted the team. He comes in, trades for Breeze, first-year NFC title game, third-year Super Bowl, another NFC title game that should have been a Super Bowl appearance, great drafts in 2017, all-time offenses throughout the 2010s, and, set the record for most wins without a Super Bowl appearance. We know what Sean Payton is capable of. And now him going in with Russell Wilson, now him going in with this defense, going in with this offseason, with this toolage. Sean Payton only spent 1 year out of the league. Where would you have put him if he didn't spend a year out? Should he be higher on this list? Felt like I wanted to put him at 4, but he has had some outthinking the room moments, not playing great in playoffs, not coaching great in playoffs, so I have to keep him at number 5. Number 4, Kyle Shanahan. And this is where I almost put Sean Payton. Kyle Shanahan, multiple NFC championships with inferior quarterbacks in the matchups. Brock Purdy as the very last pick in the NFL draft, literally Mr. Irrelevant, takes them to the NFC championship under the head coaching capability of Kyle Shanahan. Yes, he blew the Super Bowl lead. Yes, he's blown the NFC title game lead. I believe that's what it was. Something to that effect. Yes, he's blown Super Bowl. Or no. Yes, he blew the Super Bowl lead twice with the Falcons and with the Niners. Yes, he's had coaching mishaps. But to know that Kyle Shanahan came in, reworked Jimmy G off of multiple injuries, multiple NFC championship runs under Jimmy G's quarterbacking ability. One Jimmy G played in, one Jimmy G didn't. Of course, Brock Purdy, 7, 8, 9 games there, gets them through the the playoffs. But knowing how he can craft that offense to make any running back successful, to know how he can craft that offense to make any quarterback kind of be able to plug in. Maybe they're not crazy dynamic. Maybe they're not something that you're a fan of, but Kyle Shanahan's coaching ability is undeniable in this league, and he has one of the best offensive minds. We saw how Atlanta literally put up 35 points a game when Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator. Number 3, Sean McVay. Sean McVay at number 3, just 2 seasons removed from a Super Bowl win, did unfortunately have one of the worst Super Bowl hangovers in NFL history, contemplated retirement this year. As much as I have the Rams going into the tank, I still believe Sean McVay is a top coach in the league. He's just going to be dealing with a really rough and bare roster. And Sean McVay, as much as I had the Rams going 3-14 when I looked at their schedule, you're probably wondering how the hell can you have a coach winning 3 games being a top coach on your list? Because he took that team from worst to first in terms of points per game. They won the NFC. They beat the Saints as much as they shouldn't have in the NFC title game. They go to the Super Bowl, lowest scoring Super Bowl ever, lowest amount of points ever put up in a Super Bowl. He trades for Matthew Stafford, wins the damn Super Bowl the first year he does it in his house. You have to give respect to Sean McVay. He's young, one of the youngest coaches, I think the youngest coach to ever coach, one of the youngest coaches to ever win a Super Bowl. We saw how he built up the Rams, the way he engineered Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp together to have another one of the greatest quarterback to wide receiver seasons we've ever seen. I don't believe you need to outthink the room to put Sean McVay at number 3. Number 2, Mike Tomlin absolute legend in the NFL, never had a losing season. Yes, he has missed the playoffs before, but knowing how he's able to work with Kenny Pickett, great picks in George Pickens and Najee Harris, love the Darnell Washington pick out of Georgia. We know Mike Tomlin is a legend. He's coached the greats of, of course I can think about them, but he's coached the greats of Big Ben when Antonio Brown had his head on right, when Le'Veon Bell was effective, Troy Polamalu, Jerome Bettis, James Harrison, Ryan Shazier. I just could keep going with the legendary names here. TJ Watt, multiple legends that Mike Tomlin has coached, and multiple legends that he's developed. Super Bowl winner, playoff winner, never had a losing season. Again, you don't need to outthink the ruin to put Mike Tomlin here. At number one, we're going Andy Reid. I don't think anyone needed to necessarily guess, who's going to be number one? Andy Reid. 3 Super Bowls in the last 5 years. 2 of those are wins. 2-time MVP in Patrick Mahomes. 5 straight AFC title games. I feel like when you say Andy Reid's or Patrick Mahomes accolades, you can just kind of intertwine them with each other because one helped the other to get there. 5 straight AFC title games at home. 2-time Super Bowl winner. We know what he did with Philadelphia. The risky, gutsy trade up to grab a very raw Patrick Mahomes coming out of Texas Tech in the NFL draft. The Super Bowl MVPs, the multiple MVPs, the 5,000-yard seasons for Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid at number one. So the top 10 NFL head coaches going into 2023. Number 10, Mike Vrabel. Number 10, Lord. Let's start over. The top 10 head coaches in the NFL headed into the 2023 season. Number 10, Mike Vrabel. Number 9, Nick Sirianni. Number 8, Zach Taylor. Number 7, Bill Belichick. Number 6, John Harbaugh. Number 5, Sean Payton. Number 4, Kyle Shanahan. Number 3, Sean McVay. Number 2, Mike Tomlin. Number 1, Andy Reid. Now, right outside there, I did have Matt LaFleur at number 11. Again, can't deny what he did with the Packers, although he did walk into a lot more than most of these coaches did. Doug Peterson, let's not forget, he just won a Super Bowl a few years back. He just turned the Jaguars around, and I believe the Jags are going to be in at least the divisional round. They will be a top 4 team in the AFC more than likely when it's all said and done with the playoffs. Got a lot of respect for Pete Carroll. Love how he just remade Geno Smith, but we'd like to see more out of him. 2-time Super Bowl appearance, 1-time Super Bowl winner. Frank Reich has a history in the league, great players coach, and Brian Daboll just winning coach of the year, and really, really, really turning around the structure and the offensive make of that Giants team, getting Daniel Jones that bag. Darren Waller's there. Jalen Hyatt is there. A lot of respect for these head coaches in the NFL.